A very good morning to one and all. I feel privileged to share my views on education today. The wealth that cannot be stolen, neither abducted by state, nor can it be divided amongst brothers, neither it is burdensome to carry. The wealth that increases by giving, that wealth is knowledge and is supreme of all possessions. Let us reflect redundant wealth, a prospective job, material gains. Are these the only reasons why we need education? Or does education have a higher purpose? Personal enrichment, loyalty, values, self-discipline, citizenship? Before we find a slack in the education system, let's analyze what we lack in ourselves. Do we really have that inner voice which ignites our mind and compels us to ask how, when, and why? Global economic collapse, terrorism, poverty, child abuse. Education was meant to solve problems. When did education itself become a problem? Exactly. It became a problem when we changed the essence of education. So, how is education typically defined?
It is the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, and evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, and reflection, or reasoning as a guide to belief and action.
Isn't this so astounding? Today, even the very meaning of education has become so mechanical and tedious. Education is simply about learning and creating new knowledge. It needs to question, to form opinions based on one's own judgment. As Galileo once said, you cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him find it within himself.
For most of us, education means going to a place called school, where teachers enrich us with their wisdom. This mistaken idea of what true education is and how it can be achieved is a root problem in mainstream education today.
The essence of education is the concentration of mind, not the collection of facts. The student's insight is blocked by incessantly overburdening them with information. Life has become backbreaking where a person's individuality has been crushed.
The students have become submissive and are giving in to the whims and fancies of the world, where they are not accepted for who they really are, be it by teachers, parents, or peers. They are simply a shadow of the society's education system.
They have nothing of their own. Their creativity, originality, and intuition have become inconspicuous. Education has produced a vast population, able to read but unable to distinguish what is worth reading.
We are not educating. We are simply schooling. We are made to obey, believe, and follow. We hear, see, smell, feel, and think, but we don't. Training is only about developing skills. As a ringleader trains a lion to act upon his orders by luring him with a piece of meat, today's education system is no different, where students are being ensnared through the web of speed.
Are you still speaking? Yeah, are you still speaking? Because it seems to have muted. Have you lost you, team one?
Yeah, I can't hear her for the last.
I can't hear them either.
Yes, I do believe there is some sort of problem. We'll look into that right away. Meanwhile, I like what they've begun to say. You know, they're saying that we have contorted the entire meaning of education by making it such a complex, such a complex system when it's all simply just about learning and creating new knowledge. In fact, we've kept it so much about remembering what the past generations have learned that it's no longer about creating anything new. No, we can't hear you. So you can't hear them at all.
Yes, and I think somewhere we are confusing education with just training, maybe, and I think that's what they're trying to say. Can we distinguish between education and training? Yes, Akshit, carry on.
Yes.
Yes,
Carry
ma'am.
on.
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so Akshay, who do you think is a better individual? A perfectly trained one or an educated one?
Well, I think a perfectly trained individual is far better than a perfectly educated one.
And why is that?
Simple. It's only because he is the one who attains knowledge through instructions and develops skills for organizational gain. He has a trained mindset and his actions are based on the influence of his teachers, peers, and superiors.
Do you know who's an educated individual?
No.
An educated individual is the one who searches for excellence. He's independent within the constraints of collaborative living in action and thought. He has deep and genuine sense of empathy. A perfectly trained individual plays a passive role in learning and he has a restricted mind and level of thinking, while an educated individual plays an active role in learning and he believes in thinking globally and acting locally.
I would like to refute your points here. A perfectly trained individual might be playing a passive role in learning, but he is program driven, and he believes in performing his actions on the basis of the knowledge that is required. Since he has acquired his knowledge from reliable sources, his actions are bound to be fruitful, unlike a self-driven individual whose sources of knowledge might not be so reliable.
Education is not just a matter of training the mind. Training makes for efficiency, but it does not bring about personal growth and completeness. Knowledge and efficiency are both necessary to bring about a holistic dimension to education. So it is about time we introspect. Are we trained individuals or educated ones?
Today, education just emphasizes on theories instead of values, concepts rather than human beings, abstraction rather than consciousness, answers instead of questions, teaching a student that all knowledge is absolute and giving him that truth on the silver platter shuts down the faculty of thought. Why think when the answer has already been given?
The realizations that we come to while exploring our world together with other people are still the most meaningful. Earth and sky, woods and fields, lakes and rivers, the mountains and sea are excellent schoolmasters, and they teach some of us more than we can ever learn from books. Robinson Crusoe being one of the greatest examples of such a learner. It is erroneous if a student is taught lessons using fear as the basic motivation. Fear of detention, fear of not surviving in the competitive world, and the fear of deadlines can hamper a student's holistic personality development. Motivation cannot be compared. Education has to stimulate this dormant motivation and most importantly, should help to sustain it.
Teaching should be such that what is offered is perceived as a valuable gift and not as hard duty. Never regard study as duty, but as the invaluable opportunity to learn, to know the liberating influence of beauty in the realm of the spirit for your own personal joy and to the profit of the community to which your work later belongs.
The real lessons of life do not need to be remembered because they cannot be forgotten. Real learning has nothing to do with remembering things. That's what makes real learning a joyful, an awakening, and an empowering experience.
Life is my school. Every scene is a workshop. My teachers all around me, and every interaction carries a potential lesson to be learned and discerned. It's about time we notice and treasure real learning.
Thank you so much. I think they hit the nail on the head there. They're also like it's interesting that you said that they were talking exactly about education versus training. I think that our civilization has this sort of arrogance where we've started to believe that we've learned everything that we need to learn. And so if our children simply understand what we know, they should be fine. And the even outside possibility of some child knowing more than we already do is absolutely ignored, don't you think?
Absolutely. And I think as educators, we need to remember that more than anyone else.
Yeah, exactly.